Hello, I'm Chris, and welcome to my little corner of the baseball world. Today we're going to do a 1970s PSA reveal. There are 60 cards total. I'm likely going to split this into two different videos to shorten the length a little bit for you and go from there. I figured I would start real quickly with just showing you a little bit on the background here, a couple of my favorite autographed baseballs that we're going to see if we can't zoom in here a little bit. These are just a handful in my collection. It doesn't encompass everything, but at the same time, these are some of my favorites. So I thought I'd share those with you and go from there. So we're going to do this. We're going to separate the cards here. We're going to I'm going to put them in order, so I am going to pause for a moment and get them a little bit organized and save some time on screen of opening boxes. The 75s in the set, I had good results with. There are 33 of those, so there's going to be a big portion of this set of 75s. Hopefully you got to see the introductory video that I shot and posted, just to give you a little bit of background on me, where I'm from, what I collect, my 75 set, and so on. I'll do my best to keep this short, but I do kind of like to talk about players and talk about specific things as we go along, so please bear with me if it starts to get a little long. That's why I'm going to go ahead and split this video into two. So I'm going to pause now. We're going to get these boxes open, the cards stacked, so that this becomes a little bit easier for you. All right, we're almost done here. Bear with me for just one more second. These are all 1975s. We're going to not worry about these for the first video. We did have one card that did not grade, so we will take a look at it as well and go from there. So another 2 seconds and we'll be ready to go. All right, we're back and ready. I've got all of these cards all stacked. You can see them all over here. Again, the big stack is the 75s. We'll separate that into a separate video. You can also see that one of the cards did not grade, and we'll take a look at it right now and go from there. I'm going to come out on this video just a little bit here to give me a little more space. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking, but if you can, I apologize. All right, let's take a look here and see what we have on this one. And I'm sorry I'm taking it off, but there's just one card in there, and we'll get rid of that. Okay, so the card that did not grade is a 1973 Reggie Jackson, and the reason it came back is it says it is altered. Now, I'm not exactly sure what's going on there with it. I just opened the box, so I haven't looked at it and checked it. I bought this at a local trade show along with a few other cards, and at least one or two of those others I submitted and they graded. So I thought I had measured this. It doesn't say minimum size required. I know I checked it with a UV light, so I don't know about color added. I bought it over a year ago, so if it was in a screw down, it's been out of a screw down well over a year. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. I'll have to investigate a little bit closer. A little disappointing, but with the centering, the top-bottom centering, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this a little steady here. It probably wasn't going to get more than a 6 anyway. So I figured I would go ahead and get it in my PC and take it from there. Maybe that light helps a little bit. So anyway, we'll move on from the altered Reggie Jackson 1973. So next we're going to get into a couple of buddies of mine, their cards first. And I'm going to start here. I don't know what order these in, so we'll just kind of cover it as we go here. I'm going to put a couple of these up here too, just so we can show off a few things here. These are going to be cards. The first ones are cards that, that's actually mine. Let me take that back. And that's actually mine. Great. Okay. So I did that wrong. Let's figure out where we need to go with these then. Here we go. wrong stack. The first one here is a 1970 Willie Mays, and this card graded a VGX4. It's a nice looking card. Obviously, it's a little, it's got the print line up at the top, which some of those 70s do, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's an off-center card. But, I mean, this one's got some soft corners, and it's got your standard wear. My buddy of mine has had this card for a long, long time, wanted it in his PC, and so we decided that Willie Mays was worth grading. Next, we shall go with a 71 Johnny Bench. Same story here. We got a nice EX5 on it. It's a nice looking card. Centering's pretty decent on it. Nice looking card. 71s are tough. And we got a 5 for the PC on that one for Johnny Bench. That's a good call there. Next is another 71. And that is Pete Rose. On this one, we got a nice 6. Let's see if I can't do this without too much glare. And again, nice looking card, nice 71. Good card for his PC and something that he's had in his possession for a long, long time. So we go from there. Next, we have a Willie Mays again. This is a 72. This one, it was a little rougher. It had a crease in it. I don't remember exactly where off the top of my head. But this one, again, PC item. One of the best ever. What can you say? Willie is the best. He's also from the Birmingham area where I live. And again, I have had the fortunate experience of spending some time with Willie and parts of 3 days, and I'll share those stories in another video down the line here. But there was some really, really great stuff that came out of that visit. All right. Next is another Willie. It is a 73. This one got an EX5. And again, decent looking card. Centering's off on it a little bit, but at the same time, it's definitely a 5 and a nice sharp, nice Willie Mays for the PC. All right. Next we've got a Rod Carew, 73. This is my buddy Dave's, and this is one of his favorite players growing up. Got a nice EX Mint 6 on it. Nice looking vintage card there. Let's see here now. And the last card for my buddy Dave, we got a nice 78 George Brett. Good shape. A little bit off center top to bottom, but not big enough to really affect the grade. If I recall, I measured that, and that would have fit in within an 8. I believe what hurt this card, and I don't know if I can get focused in or not, may have been the tipping point to knock it over, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's what I call a little bit of overspray, a little bit of paint and colors, little specks of color around his face and his hair. Nothing drastic. It doesn't take away from the overall appeal of the card, but it is going to at least affect the grade slightly. So I think that may have been the tipping point between a 7 and 8 on this card, because it is a pretty nice sharp card. So that's it for my buddy Dave. He had 7 cards. We did pretty well. Again, nothing was going to be high-end, but at the same time, these are all cards that he had in his PC for a very, very long time, and thought it was a good idea to go ahead and get those slabbed. Next, for cards from my buddy James, he had 5 cards in this submission. Again, all PC. First one is a Thurman Munson. We got an EX5. This one is pretty well centered. Nice looking card. Just corner wear. It's a little soft, a little tough to get us any higher. But still a very nice looking card. Good colors. We won't complain about that one whatsoever. Next, we have a 74 Willie McCovey with the Washington National League Club. Again, Padres were thought to be moving to Washington before the season started, and so in the first run, Topps did some of the Padres players in this Washington National League because they didn't know what their nickname was going to be. Then when that move fell through, they went back to Padres. So there are some of these cards that you will see that will have both. Players will have both the Washington National League and the Padres versions. Others will have one or the other. But this is a Willie McCovey and a PSA 4 for James PC. Next we go Nolan Ryan, 1971. This one was a little rougher, but it's Nolan Ryan and 71. Overall, looks pretty good. It's just got weak, well, I call them tender corners, and those and the edge wear, which is typical. We got a 2 on it. Would have liked to have seen a 3, but yeah, that's about kind of what we expected on there. From that, the last 2 cards for James. The 1977 Dale Murphy rookie. James is a big Dale Murphy guy, big Braves fan, but grew up with Dale Murphy as his hero. And this is a nice looking card, nice sharp looking card. Looks pretty well centered. Let me just see if we got a little off left to right actually, but still nice looking card. We got a near mint version of Dale Murphy rookie card. Again, not super high dollar, but again, sharp, nice card for the PC. Exactly what James was looking for there. And the last card for James, he went Big Red Machine and went Sparky Anderson on for us. And Sparky got a 6. Sparky only played a year or 2 in the major leagues and then went into coaching and obviously, did his thing, became a Hall of Fame manager, a couple of World Series with Big Red Machine, a World Series with the Detroit Tigers. So Sparky carved out his own niche in baseball history and did a very nice job. I believe his rookie card was 58 or 59. You'll have to forgive me. I can't remember exactly which one. But let me see if it will give us any... I can't really get that focused well enough for you to see what's there. That's all managerial anyway. But it was 58 or 59. He played 1 year, or at least 1 full season in the majors. But obviously he's a Hall of Fame manager with some World Series titles underneath his belt. So next, those are all for James. And let's get those down here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these. I'm going to slide them over here so that I can move mine here and go. We're just going to go out of order. It doesn't really matter. Actually, no, we won't. We won't do that. We'll just take these and go. All right. First one was a really nice, sharp Dick Allen card, or Rich Allen in this case. I believe he had cards that were listed as Richie Allen, as Rich Allen, and as Dick Allen over the years. One of the best players to not be in the Hall of Fame. Allen had a little bit of a reputation as being a little difficult, but those that played with him don't necessarily echo that. So, again, I think he was a strong man in the 70s who was not afraid to speak up and, might have rubbed some people the wrong way, but great power hitter, fierce competitor. Again, probably borderline Hall of Fame, and personally, I think that he is worthy of Hall of Fame induction, and that's a nice 8. Again, not a high dollar card, but a very, very nice looking card there. Next card from 1970. I like Tom Seaver a lot. I have a good handful of Tom Seaver cards. So I went ahead and bought this. It was sharp, and one of the things that I like about it is it has 4 Hall of Famers on it. It also was sharp enough to get an 8. So we're going to take that, and we're going to take it in a hurry. Again, not a high dollar card, but 4 Hall of Famers. Can't beat that with a stick. Next, we'll move on to a few 71s. First one is a Burt Blyleven rookie card. This one is an EX5. It's a nice looking card. Again, it's not without its wear and tear, which makes sense for the grade. I had no questioning whatsoever on this grade. I thought I could have gotten anywhere from a 4 to a 6, so I was pretty much right in on it. And to be honest with you, I thought 6 would have been a little on the generous side, but you never know. So next, this is my Nolan Ryan, and from 71, It also graded a 2. Again, the bottom left is going to be the main culprit here. That corner's pretty tough. This is a PC card for me. Yeah, I guess I could sell it at some point if I decide to upgrade to something different, but at the same time, I like the card. I picked it up at a local trade show along with a few others. It just isn't, we're not talking near mint like the 1970s, but a nice Nolan Ryan nonetheless. Actually, I will stick that here for the moment. And then lastly, this card I took a little chance on. I bought it cheap. It's an Expos team card. I really, really thought that I might be able to get an 8 or even a 9 on this. This is a really sharp card. It missed a little bit. It got a 7. And so not really a whole lot of value there. I'm not an Expos collector, so I will find a Expos collector or a high number 1971 Topps collector and offload that one pretty cheaply. Because it has no meaning to me in terms of PC. But at the same time, it's a sharp card. No matter how we look at it, I was a little disappointed in the grade, but as you will see with some of the others, I'm not going to complain whatsoever on that. So that runs us through 70 and 71. Let me get these off of here. We'll leave the two 70s up there for right now and come back to 73. We had a nice Bob Gibson. I was kind of hoping for a 7 on this, but I had written down between 6 and 7, so a 6 is not a surprise whatsoever. But a nice card nonetheless. Let me make sure I get that right for you. An EX6 of one of the greatest pitchers of his era for sure, and just a dominant pitcher at times. Next on the 73s, I have my own Willie Mays. Again, I believe I picked this up at the same trade show that I picked up that Nolan Ryan, the 71 Nolan Ryan. Got it. Decent looking card, pretty well centered. Got a 7. I was borderline on that and actually was kind of figuring on a 6 and hopeful for a 7. And we got the 7 and we're going to take it and be very, very happy with that. Willie Mays in a Mets uniform, his final main issue card, and we got a near mint 7 on it. We'll take it. We'll go to the PC. Next, I got a run of 3 1974 cards. Actually, let me take that back. There are 4 1974 cards. The first is a Tom Seaver. Beautiful card. I love this card. I have this in an 8 already. But I felt like it was good enough to get graded. A 7 is about where I thought it would land. Kind of had that hope for an 8 note jotted down, but 7 is about where I thought it would land. And just a really beautiful card. There weren't a whole lot of action shots back then, and to turn the card horizontally and get him right in the middle of pitching motion was, I think, just one of his best cards. So we got a 7 on this Seaver. Again, it's something that at some point I'll probably move on since I do have this in an 8. But at the same time, it's a very, very nice, sharp-looking card. And we'll go from there. Seems the glare is a little bit worse on the back of the cards than it is the front. I can't seem to get rid of it completely, but trying to minimize it the best I can. We're going to try this one more time. See if maybe this is either going to help or it's going to hurt. So we're going to add a little light on that side. Next, we got card 283, which is Michael Jack Schmidt. We got a 7 on this baby. Second year Mike Schmidt. Nice looking card. A little bit off center left to right, which is where you tend to find that happen. This one's a hard one to get centered. And I was fortunate enough a while back to pick up a well-centered near mint 8. So, but again, I thought this one was good enough to grade, and we will, again, at some point move that along to someone else. But at the same time, it was worth grading rather than just sticking it in my raw pile. Next, this one is the one I was really happy about. Had my fingers crossed on this one, but this was a really, really sharp card. A Nolan Ryan. It's one of my favorite Nolan Ryan cards. Again, got him in mid-pitching motion here, and we got an 8. I had 7 or 8 listed, and was, hoping like hell we could get the 8, and we got it. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to be happy with it. That will go in my PC and probably never see the light of day outside of my own collection. But it's a beautiful card. It's sharp all the way around. It's really well centered. It's just one of Ryan's early cards that are just really, really beautiful. The last card I have here for 74, again, slight disappointment on this one, but not really. It's about what I expected, but sometimes you just kind of hope that you're going to get the high side of what you want. This is one of the Hank Aaron specials. It's number 2. And a very, very nice looking card. It was the best of these I have. I have a 74 set. I bought it complete. It's a good, solid mid-grade set. Probably lots of 5s and 6s, that type, level. I didn't see I don't remember seeing any creases at all, but, I didn't thumb through every single card with a fine-tooth comb, but at the same time, very, very nice card. This one got a 7. I was kind of hoping for an 8 on it. It was the best centered one I had. The others weren't quite centered as well as I'd like, or at least well enough I thought that they could grade beyond maybe a 6. But at the same time, I thought that was a pretty sharp card. I like those. I like that series. In my mind, I had visions of maybe getting them all in 8s at some point. And I guess that's still possible, but at the same time, we are talking 1974, which is exactly 50 years old this year, and a near mid 7 is nothing to be disappointed in on that. So I'm going to take this Nolan, put it up here. I'm going to slide Bob back down, and no offense to Bob, but I'm going to put the Home Run King, or at least the vintage Home Run King, if you will, back in that slot there. So now I got 3 more cards here for this group, and then we'll stop this video here, and then I'll record a separate one for the 75s. I'm going to slide these babies over here out of the way, and that way you can still see Stan Musial. If we zoom in a little bit, see if we can zoom in on Stan and Willie there, and go from there. And if you notice, Willie's a little faded in that. Willie just loved to use blue Sharpie when he signed, and that's what he carried around with him. And that was, again, one of those times where I got to spend a little bit of time with Willie. Did some business with him. We'll go through that, but there were some great stories that came out of that time, and we'll talk about those down the road. All right, last 3 cards. This one is a 76 Tom Seaver. I thought it had a shot at an 8, but it was a little bit borderline, and it did not get the 8. It got 7. Still, nice near mint Hall of Fame pitcher. I like it. I have this in an 8. In fact, I have a second 8. I'm not exactly sure what I did there, but so this one will be available to a Tom Seaver collection in the near future. Obviously at a pretty low cost on that one. Still, nice card. Just happens to be a year that I'm swimming in Tom Seavers. Other years I don't have any, so we'll have to work on that down the road. Next we have almost lost the phone there. We have a Robin Yount. Actually, we're going to skip that. We're going to do the Robin Yount first. I'm going to skip a year. 1978. I bought this at a local estate sale, with some really nice items. Actually, I got that Stan Musial autographed baseball at that estate sale. We have very, very few sales around here that have a lot of old vintage type cards, and I found one. There was a lot there. I bought some good items, and unfortunately didn't have unlimited funds, didn't buy as much as I'd liked. Came back 2 days later for the last day, and dang near everything had just been totally bought up. So, and they did a private sale the first day by appointment only that I missed but I called to make an appointment too late. And so a lot of the good stuff was gone before I ever even saw it. But they had a lot of nice stuff, a bunch of nice bats, Mays mantle. They were all authenticated. This guy was a nice collector. He had a lot of stuff and a lot of autograph stuff. Anyway, we'll move forward here. 78 Robin Yount. I thought it was really sharp. Figured I'd see what happens there. And we got a mint 9. Again, not the most expensive card in the world, but it is a beautiful card of a Hall of Famer and one that I grew up admiring a lot. Again, 75 was my first real recollection for baseball and the 75 World Series specifically. But Robin Yount obviously was a rookie in 75, so he was one that I really followed and liked, and didn't know much about the Brewers a whole lot until we got to the early 80s and became a big fan of the 82 Brew Crew. And unfortunately, they could not pull off the World Series win over the Cardinals, but at the same time, Robin Yount was a heck of a player. And I'll add this. Robin Yount was a 2-time MVP, yet he was only a 3-time All-Star in a 20-plus year career. Unbelievable to me that a guy that was a perennial top player in the game, a 2-time MVP, Hall of Famer, played shortstop half his career, center field the other half, yet could only make the All-Star team 3 different times. That's probably a function of playing in Cincinnati, in Milwaukee in a smaller market, but also a function of how you do in your first year or first half of the year. I mean, that did matter. I remember going to games and poking the ballots as a kid at minor league games because they always had the Major League All-Star ballots there too and voting. So 2-time MVP, 3-time All-Star, mint 9, and a Robin Yount. I'm happy with that, and that goes into the PC. And finally, another Nolan Ryan. This was a 77. I thought it had a nice shot at a nice grade. It's a really, really nicely centered card. Maybe a little bit of shade top to bottom, but at the same time, nice looking card, and we got a near mint 8 on it, which is where I thought it would be. I hoped it would be. I jotted down 7 or 8 and hoped for an 8, and we got the 8, and we're going to take it. And again, that goes right into the PC. So Nolan, one of the best pitchers of all times in terms of career. Wish he pitched on better teams. I was able and fortunate enough to see him pitch in his final season. Sadly, he gave up a grand slam in the first inning in that game to Mike Pagliarulo of the Orioles. But I was able to see him. I believe it was his 4th to the last start he ever made. And he got injured, missed most of that season, and then came back for a start or 2 at the end. I'm not exactly sure on the details, and then retired in 93. But I was fortunate enough to be able to see him in Baltimore and Camden Yards against the Orioles. And while he gave up the grand slam, he still lasted 2 more innings, gave up nothing else those the next 2 innings, and came out. And I believe that's when he injured either the elbow or the shoulder and went on the DL for a while. But I was fortunate enough that one time I got to see Nolan Ryan pitch, and that was it. It was in Camden Yards, which is a beautiful, beautiful ballpark. Anyway, that's going to be all for this video. I appreciate you sticking it out and watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, not a whole lot of high dollar stuff here, but some nice cards, some nice stuff for the PC, and I'm not going to complain on the grades. Anything that I didn't get where I wanted to be wasn't far off at all. There were no major disappointments aside from the Reggie card that was listed as altered, which I'll have to dig into. Because again, I bought that at a trade show, a local trade show, and not sure what happened with that one. All right, I will let you go from here. Please, if you like this video, if you'd like to see more, subscribe to my channel. Like the video, it helps. It helps me get in front of more people. And it will also help feed my video into your YouTube recommendations as you scroll through and go from there. But I will do a second half of this video for the large stack of 75s that we have right there. Come back for that, especially if you like 75s. There's some high grade stuff there. I think you'll like what you see. Those were a good stack of some of the best cards that I had raw yet in my set. So I will say goodbye for now, and I hope to see you again soon.